Welcome to yet another double feature episode of Inside NDU, the podcast that gives you sneak peeks into the happenings of Notre Dame University Loise. Sports play a crucial role in society, offering diverse physical and mental benefits, especially through the promotion of discipline, dedication, and teamwork. While sports and academia might seem unrelated, today's exciting guests are here to bridge the gap and give us an insight on the dynamic relationship between these two fields. Our first guest is Dr. Nadim Nassif, Associate Professor of the Physical Education and Sports at NDU and the Director of the International Center of Sport Policy and Governance. Dr. Nassif is here to discuss the center's interesting projects and their impact on sports. Dr. Nassif, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Let me start by congratulating you on your recent appointment as the Director of the International Center for Sport Policy and Governance.
Thank you very much.
Firstly, can you tell us a little bit about your academic journey?
Okay. I started with the BA in Physical Education and Sport. Then I did the FIFA Master in Sport Management, Law and Humanities. Then I did the MPhil in Sport History. And finally, a PhD in Sport Sociology. In parallel also, I had my coaching certificates in both futsal and mixed martial arts.
And how does the sports and academia fields intersect?
Well, they intersect since decades, but in Lebanon, it's the concept of sport and academia is relatively newer than the other majors. People need to know that our students study very hard. The theoretical courses are very difficult. Even the practical courses, they have a lot of theoretical component, so they intersect a lot.
Can you give us an overview of the International Center for Sport Policy and Governance?
Okay, it all started with the research that we did in NDU. We created a ranking for countries in elite sport, in international competition. This ranking was innovative. We were able to rank all the countries in more than 115 sports. So the competitor is the Olympic medal table that ranks only countries in 40 sports. So our ranking was innovative, and we put coefficient for each sport based on popularity and universality. This ranking called the interest of an international company called Cell Nutrition. It's an Irish company, and this company was in 2023 they accepted to sponsor the ranking. So part of the deal was to create a think tank, a research center in NDU, and this is how the International Center for Sport Policy and Governance saw the light.
And what are its aims and missions?
The first aim of this center, of the think tank, is to update the existing rankings. So I talked before about the world ranking of countries in elite sport. We created 3 other rankings. We created the world ranking of countries in elite sport merit ranking. So we are rewarding the countries that punch above their weight. So we take the same ranking and we scale it according to the GDP of each country. So we are measuring which are the countries that punch above their weight. The third ranking is the WFCR, which is the world's fittest countries ranking. So we are measuring the fitness of the population of each country. For that, we take 3 variables: the result of national teams, the obesity rate, and the prevalence of undernourishment. And based on that, we are able to measure the fitness of each population. And this ranking was endorsed by the International Federation of Physical Education and Sport, FIEPS, which is recognized by the IOC and UNESCO.
Okay.
And the fourth ranking is the WSPI, World Sport Power Index. The objective of this ranking is to measure countries' capacity to use sport as an instrument of soft power. So this index has 3 variables: the result of national teams, the hosting of major sport event, and the popularity of the local professional sport leagues. For example, England, we take the result of the national teams. We take the hosting of event. If England hosts an event, they will get points.
Yes.
And finally, let's say the Premier League. It's a very popular competition. So this will count for this ranking.
Okay, so they have to score high with
in
all
3
of these
variables. Yes.
How does the research output of the center differ from the already existing body of literature?
Okay. This is the first sport think tank in the Middle East, and it's one of the very few in the world. So it's a very innovative research.
And what does the usual data collection process look like?
Okay, so the main work is to collect the international result in 115 sports around the world. So we do it all year long. So first of all, we measure the popularity and universality of each sport. This takes at least 3 or 4 months. Then once we have the coefficient for each sport, we go to the result of all the countries in this sport. And then we calculate the points that the countries have to have the final rankings.
Okay. And what are some of the key areas of focus for the center in terms of improving sports policy?
So with these indexes, we are able to measure accurately the performance of countries, whether it is in terms of fitness of the general population, whether it is in terms of international result, whether it is in terms of sport and soft power. So countries can have very accurate evaluation of their performance in several areas in sports. So once they have these results, they can focus on doing the right strategies and policies to improve.
Yes. What projects is the center currently involved in?
So the thing that we will be doing every year is to update the rankings. This is what we will do. But then, based on that, we will propose case studies on different countries. So for example, if a country improved a lot from a year to another, we will do a case study about it.
Yes. And in what ways do these projects' findings apply to the real-world settings?
Okay, as I said, we are giving very accurate scientific indexes. So countries or national sport authorities can use these results to really see where they stand in terms of fitness level of their population, in terms of elite sport result, in terms of global visibility in sport. So once they see these indexes, they can really apply pertinent strategies and policies.
Of course. In what specific ways does the research center support the academic and athletic programs at NDU?
By creating the first sport think tank in the Middle East, we put already NDU on the sport map of the Middle East. And it's, as I told you, there are very few sport think tanks around the world. So NDU in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, will have a global reputation in sport. So this will raise the awareness of sport in NDU, and I'm sure it will attract many students to come and study in our programs. We will soon have, in a couple of years, hopefully, master in sport management as well. So all this will raise the standards of sport education in NDU.
Yes, for sure. And how does NDU contribute to the research center's mission?
So as I told you, this think tank is funded by an Irish company, Cell Nutrition Sport, but NDU is hosting the think tank. It's hosted in the Faculty of Humanities.
Yes.
And the Office of Communication will be promoting 2 case studies per month. So NDU will be doing a huge job to promote the findings of this think tank.
And how do you envision the future of sports and sports research in Lebanon and the Middle East?
The sport industry in the Middle East grew exponentially the last decade, especially in 2022, Qatar hosted the FIFA World Cup.
Yes.
And Saudi Arabia is aiming to host the FIFA World Cup, I think, in 2034. Mm-hmm. So there is a very big growth in the sport industry in the Middle East. Unfortunately, the level of sport participation is still very limited compared to Europe and North America.
And why do you think so?
Because the tendency of Arab countries was to invest a lot on major sport events, but not invest a lot on mass participation.
Okay.
And sport is like a pyramid. If you don't develop the base of the pyramid, the performance at the top of the pyramid will not be at a high level.
Yes.
So perhaps with this think tank, we will be able to give pertinent indicators on the level of mass participation, on the level of fitness of the Arab population, and perhaps it can change and it can raise the awareness of developing policies to develop mass participation and fitness, which is very important.
So you do see potential in the Arab region?
There is always potential, but we have to work hard, like in everything in sport.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Dr. Nassif, for this insightful conversation.
Thank you very much.
And we really enjoyed having you on the podcast.
Thank you.
Coming up next is Maya Gabriel, who graduated from the Faculty of Humanities with a double major in advertising and marketing and physical education and sports. Maya will be guiding us through her athletic journey and will be shedding light on the challenges that upcoming scholars might face. Thank you for being on the show, Maya.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on your recent appointment as student ambassador by the International University Sports Federation.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your role and responsibilities as an ambassador?
Okay, so as an ambassador, we're supposed to represent the FISU in our own country.
Mm-hmm.
And the FISU is the International Federation for University Sports. Their aim is to, unite students through sports.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as an ambassador, we have several things to do. This past month, for example, we had group project proposals. We had to come up with some sort of project that we want to implement in a certain country.
Yeah.
And we work with different ambassadors from different countries, so we were separated into groups. This was really great. It opened up, it's like a cultural exchange. And it just shows you how much sports can unite people, regardless of the country, the color, everything.
Of course.
And also another thing we have to do as an ambassador is to come up with an action plan, something that we want to implement throughout the whole year of our term in our own country. So I was thinking of working on conferences that would be targeted to student athletes and students and even high school students, just to be able to promote sports in general and mental health through sports and well-being through sports, everything.
What were the most valuable lessons or experiences you have gained during your time as an advertising and physical education student here at NDU?
Okay. Advertising taught me a lot about the marketing aspect of everything, in business. It can be used in sports and everything. So I gained some knowledge in marketing that can be applied in sports, when you work in a sports organization, when you want to promote something.
Yes.
So it's very helpful. And from physical education, I learned a lot. First of all, when you're in sports, you can only count on yourself. So you see where you can go.
Yeah,
and
you challenge yourself.
Exactly. So I was able to see how far I could go, and you take this with you in life, actually. So when you can only rely on yourself, you know how to put this in life later on also.
Yeah. What advice would you give to current physical education students who are looking to make a meaningful impact in the field?
I think that they should just focus on whatever sport it is that they like, and give, regardless of the reward that you're going to get from it, you just give everything you have, and you will get recognition, the recognition you deserve. So you just go ahead, you just focus on whatever it is that you love, and you work hard, you try to improve it, promote it as much as you can, and just like be yourself. I mean, it sounds cliche, but just be yourself,
In your opinion, how do you see the current state of women's sports in Lebanon and the Middle East?
Right now, it's better than before. I can tell you that. When I was still a kid, for example, football was just seen as a sport for boys.
Yeah.
Now things are changing, and we're seeing this with the under-19 football team, the girls, who won recently in Asia, I think, and I mean, things are starting to evolve, and I think that they're going in a good way, on a good path, and we should just keep going. We shouldn't give up on this, because girls can give a lot more, and this can help actually a country be more visible through sports.
Yes, this would give a chance for women to actually shine in
course.
sports. And what are some of the challenges women generally encounter in this field?
Well, I think first of all, maybe the governing bodies don't give them, don't trust them enough to well represent a country. Maybe other challenges would be, lack of funding. They would when a country is already not very financially stable, they would put more funding for the men's sports because they think that they will get more results. So I think there's that, and it's mostly trust and funding.
Yeah.
And this would maybe decrease the confidence in women who are athletes, but this shouldn't really be an obstacle, I think.
Do you think, like, as a woman, do you have like physical challenges in any type of sport?
Physiologically, women and men are different.
Yeah.
But no, not really. I think that you can be very, very performing around women, and women can compete with men.
Yeah.
It's just at different levels, but it all works.
And how do you balance the physical and mental aspects of health and wellness in your approach to physical education?
Sports actually are supposed to be a way for you to be able to release all this extra tension that you have in you. So I think that someone who has time to balance between work and or studies and sports should be able to go for it.
Yeah.
Because it will help you release tension and all of this, to be able to perform better in whatever it is you do, and maybe find a sport that you're actually good at and just keep going with it, which will help mentally, I think.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, Maya, for being here and for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you for having me.
As always, thanks for tuning into our podcast. Be sure to follow our social media platforms and subscribe to our channel to stay notified about upcoming episodes. See you next time.